Hey guys, it's Tracy. Welcome back to Love Your Shelf. Recently, I posted a video about Big Book Summer and the 15 books that I want to read from Memorial Day until Labor Day. And it got me thinking as I started reading this book called Lonesome Dove, that's 960 pages. Do I really like bigger books? Lonesome Dove has been really great, but I feel like it started picking up around page 450, which most of the books I read are between 300 and 400 pages, so that's a whole other book I could have invested in before I got this. But I was talking about to a friend about how reading huge books like that though leave a lot of room for character development, and they do a lot of other things that you can't do with smaller books, like have multiple people from everywhere that you don't understand how they're going to fit into the story, and then you do fit them into the story, and it helps with character development and overall plot. So there's a lot of things that being a bigger book can do if it's done right. And so I was looking through my Goodreads at books. There's a setting where you can filter the books you've read from most pages. A lot of them are 5 stars for me. Some of them are between 4 and 5, but they're books that I do think about are my favorite books that are 400 pages or longer is the criteria. And I'm going to start with the hardcover books. I'm not normally a hardcover book person, but there are specific books that I had to get hardcover. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Project Hail Mary by Andrew Weir, which for sure, they do have a paperback version now, but as soon as it came out, I was like, I'm getting that. I read The Martian. The Martian is one of probably in my top 10 favorite books, honestly. I haven't written out my top 10 favorite books because it's so hard to choose, but as soon as this came out, I had already read Artemis as well. That came out before this one. And Project Hail Mary, I just had to get it on hardback. So that's what I have it on. And this clocks in at, let's see, 478 pages. So it's just under 500. And it is about Project Hail Mary, which is the earth is, technically the sun is dying. There's an issue with the sun. There's a bunch of organisms that are depleting the sun and its energy. And so Earth has no choice but to send someone to try to figure out what we can do to save it. And it's Project Hail Mary because they are sending people there, but they can't send them back. And amazing things happen in this book. Everyone should read it, in my opinion. I don't want to give out any spoilers at all. One of my friends did read it through Audible and said that the audio version is incredible too because of a main character that's in this book and the way that they're depicted. So that's pretty exciting. I haven't read it audibly. I read it, it's one of, I don't remember the last time I read a whole book without reading it audibly, but this is one of them for sure. And I would recommend it to anyone if you are into sci-fi or you just want to have a good time, pick up this book. The second book I'm going to talk about, you can't really see it because I don't have the version, but this is Unbroken. It's by Laura Hildenbrand. And I'll put it right here. Unbroken. I read it 2 years ago with my mom when we were driving from California to Washington because we went down to visit my brother. And I really needed something to distract me and my mom because of the place that we were at when we took a road trip to go see my brother. We started listening to Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, and I ended up falling in love with this book. So it's about a runner in the Olympics, but also it's not about that at all. Like, yes, that is part of who this person was. He is a runner in the Olympics. He's also a survivor of World War II. His plane landed in the ocean, and he ended up getting into Japanese concentration camps, or like war camps, and had a crazy hell of a time. And it's really depressing. It's a depressing book where you're rooting for someone you're 99% sure is not going to live. And in the end, he lives. Sorry, spoiler alert, he lives. But in the end, he has a lot of gratitude for the time that he overcame, and ended up just having forgiveness for everything he went through, which is really incredible. The next book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And this book, it's crazy because this is a good example of fiction books teaching you things that you have never thought of. And one of the things that taught me about is like amputees. It does depict very well some information about amputees, or what people go through when they can't utilize parts of their limbs in their body. But that's not even what the book is about at all. It just does also have that representation, which is really good. It's about two friends that meet in not great circumstances in a hospital, and they end up kind of like going back into acquaintances and then coming back into a friendship, and they end up building a video game together, and it's them doing life together and what that looks like for them. And I love books with people doing life together because like the people that I hold near and dearest to my heart are the people that I've done life together with. So I definitely recommend this book. And there was definitely a point in this book where I was like, are you kidding me? Like, why? How did you fucking do that? Why would you do that? What is going to happen now? And I thought for sure that the writer, Mrs. Zevin, wrote herself into a place she wasn't going to be able to get out of. And I was pleasantly surprised. I ended up really enjoying the end of the book. 197 pages, which technically wouldn't qualify under the Big Book Summer, but when I read it on Goodreads, it said it was 400. So actually, I don't know if you want to count that. But regardless, read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow because it's incredible if you haven't yet. The next book I just got, actually, and it is a signed copy, so I'm very excited. If you have followed anything I've done for at all, you might have heard me mention how much I love Veronica Roth because she does things that other people just haven't done. I feel like in Divergent, she did one specific thing. I don't want to do spoilers. I don't even think they made a third movie, and it's in the third book. So she just does things that I feel like not everybody does, and I instantly love everything I read from her. And The Chosen Ones is not an exception to that. I do also love this book. If you want a book about time travel, and not time travel, like alternate reality travel, and zombies, and like the Mariana Trench put together, which makes no sense in that aspect, but in life, it's a thing in this book. Yeah, get The Chosen Ones. And magic, there's definitely magic in it as well. This is a really incredible book. It has at least 417 pages, because that's where I'm at right now. And we're almost at the end. Acknowledgements. 419. Has 419 pages, so part of Big Book Summer. Yeah, definitely check that out if you're into any of those things that I mentioned. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. And it is clocking in at 494 pages. I picked this up for book club and I had no idea what it was about. And it shocked me. Like, it's about murder, it's about like betrayal, it's about drug usage, it's about legalities between tribal land and United States land and the differences, and rape. Like, it's about a whole bunch of different messed up shit rolled into an incredible book. So definitely check that one out too. There is a second book to this. So all the books, there are multiple books that were parts of trilogies, series, duologies that I didn't put on here. However, to me, The Firekeeper's Daughter is its own book. And then there is Warrior Girl Unearthed, which is also really good, but it's about other people in the same tribe. So to me, it's its own book, so I kept it on here, on its own. The next book I'm going to talk about is one of the best books I've ever read, The Book Thief. So, and this is by Markus Zusak. And Markus Zusak is also one of those authors where I just know I'm going to absolutely love anything I pick up by him. One of my other favorite books of all time is I Am the Messenger. Is that what it's called? Yeah. One of my other favorite books of all time is called I Am the Messenger, and it's by Markus Zusak. The Book Thief is also one of my favorites. It's by Markus Zusak. And he also does Bridge of Clay, which I haven't finished reading yet, but I originally started, but it's about a family, and I was reading it audibly, and the audible version just didn't work for me. So I'm going to read it, the actual physical book, at some point, but I haven't yet. So anyway, The Book Thief is narrated by Death, so you know that certain characters are going to die, and it's just really so poetically, hauntingly beautiful. But here's how it starts, because it's incredible. Death and chocolate. First the colors, then the humans. That's usually how I see things, or at least how I try. Here is a small fact. You are going to die. I am in all truthfulness attempting to be cheerful about this whole topic, though most people find themselves hindered in believing me no matter my protestations. Please trust me. I most definitely can be cheerful. I can be amiable, agreeable, affable, and that's only the A's. Just don't ask me to be nice. Nice has nothing to do with me. Reaction to the aforementioned fact. Does this worry you? I urge you, don't be afraid. I'm nothing if not fair. So that's how this book starts, and it is about death, and Death and Chocolate is the first chapter. It's like 3 pages, something small. And then the next chapter talks about seeing red or black, and the next chapter talks about seeing red. Yeah, so the second chapter is black, the third chapter is red. But it's like the colors that Death sees before they see the humans. And then it fixates on one specific character and her time through the war, and it is incredible. It clocks in at 500 something, 550 pages. So it is bigger, but it's 100% worth it. It's one of the best books ever. Now I'm going to talk about 2 books by the same author, and that is going to be Erin Morgenstern, which is The Night Circus and The Starless Sea. So I read The Night Circus first. The Night Circus is about a circus, but it's about 2 magicians who are in a competition, and they're creating the circus to win, essentially. And it's about a lot of other things, but that's the main thing. The thing is, Erin Morgenstern, holy shit, Erin Morgenstern. She so a lot of times when I think in words, or I also took sign language when I was in middle school or high school, so I think in sign language, like if you say the word bus, I don't think of an actual bus all the time. Sometimes I just see the word bus. Sometimes I see the sign language for bus or whatever. Like, I don't always think of an actual physical bus. It's hard for me to see vividly what books want me to see. A lot of times I'm there for the characters, the character development, the plot, a good story. But if you are trying to get me to visually see something, it is a really hard thing to do. And somehow in both of these books, Erin Morgenstern blows it out of the water. Everything she writes about, I can vividly see, and it's stunning. She creates gorgeous worlds with very flawed characters, and it's incredible. And The Starless Sea is no exception, by the way. Like, yes, The Night Circus came first. It is incredible. I don't know if The Night Circus came first. I assume. I read it first. Yeah, by the author of Night Circus. So I'm pretty sure The Starless Sea is second. The Starless Sea is also an incredible book. I remember the world that this person is in because I saw it very vividly. And I remember where they originally started, but I don't remember, I read this a while ago, the reason that they ended where they ended or where they ended, honestly. But it is also incredible. There's entryways that lead to this secret place. And there's a lot of like twists and turns and puzzles that this person has to go through to find what they're looking for, even though I don't remember what they're looking for. But both books are very, very like vividly written and have amazing, good, like very unique stories. So The Starless Sea is 570 pages, and The Night Circus is 512. And those are both by Erin Morgenstern, and they are incredible. So if you want to hear about some books or read some books that are very different, actually literally every book that I've mentioned so far probably is, except Becoming's not super different, probably. It's just a good memoir. So the next one I'm going to talk about is The Boys in the Boat. So The Boys in the Boat is actually one of the books. It's the second book I read that's on my Big Book Summer. And it barely qualifies. It's like 400 pages or 401 or something. Let's see. Oh, actually this one is 490. So on Goodreads it's like barely there. But here it is. So George Clooney just produced a movie for this. And it's about kayakers. Nope, that's a lie. It's about rowers. 9 Americans in their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. And I really didn't think that this would be... I didn't think it would hold my interest as much as it did. But it is incredible. And it's not all about how they did this, although it is, but it's also about like the build of the boat that they utilize. And it's about Joe, this guy named Joe Rance, and his family life, which was horrifying, and just overcoming all odds, switching things up to find what works best. How sometimes it's not always the best people, but who works best together, who has the best teamwork that causes you to be successful and achieve what you want to achieve. And overall, it was something that I just looked forward to reading every day. And it brought a whole bunch of new aspects that I didn't expect. Also, it's the boys in the boat are from UW, which is University of Washington. I'm in Washington, and it was crazy to me because this happened in like the 1930s, and it's talking about how it was the coldest winter they've ever had, or the windiest winter they've ever had, or like as they're trying to row, they have all these weather aspects that are giving them problems, but we're still in that right now. We're at the warmest summer we've ever had, or the coldest winter we've ever had, and climate change is real, and it's been going on for a long time, and it's so crazy to me that it's mentioned in here still, even though it's something that we've only been talking about for like 20 years. So yeah, Boys in the Boat, so good. And that's by Daniel James Brown. And then I have another 2 books by the same author, and that is Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead and I dropped the book. The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, which I'll get for you. So we'll talk about The Fountainhead first because I dropped the other book. So The Fountainhead is about architecture. There's 2 architects, Peter Keating and Howard Rourke. And Howard Rourke is one of the first characters that I ever, fell in love with in a weird way. Because he has so many morals and he doesn't fold at them. But I read this when I was 17, and then rereading it last year, it didn't stick the same way. And that's probably because it is older and there's so many things that I've learned are red flags. And yeah, anyway, I've grown a lot and he's still the same, but The Fountainhead is still an amazing book. It definitely is about staying true to your morals. The architecture, this book actually, when I was younger, made me want to be an architect. The architecture that he has, that he's made, sounds incredible. I wish that I could see a glass house in a rock, because that's on a cliff, because that sounds like what he built. But it all in all, it's a really good book. Ayn Rand is amazing at being devil's advocate throughout her characters and plotting, this person believes one thing and this person believes the exact opposite, and they're gonna talk it out until one of them wins and proves that they won through their story. And it's a ride, and I'm there for it. So the other one is Atlas Shrugged. And this is about who is John Galt. If you've read it, if you know, you know. But this book is about a railroad. Dagny Taggart, she's incredible, and she is trying with her brother to have a railroad system that goes 100 miles per hour. Back in the day, so we talk about that now, trains that are that fast, but back in the day this was crazy. And then it also touches on communism and socialism and how that can stop the speed of creating if we have stuff like that, because nobody will want to do better because, everyone else is being paid the same. And yeah, so it's about how do you find a medium where people aren't starving, but people still want to continue to create. It's not what it's about at all, but it is what it's about at the same time. So the plot of the book, sorry, my dog is barking. The plot of the book is Dagny Taggart runs a railroad station. She's trying to build a railroad where it goes 100 miles per hour, and she's just fucking kicked down everywhere she goes. And in the meantime, it talks about the people that she falls in love with and the ingenuity that she has and the perseverance that she has in trying to get what she wants, while there's all these things stacking up against her. And then there's also an additional portion where people that are really creative, the best inventors of their time, are gone and missing, and no one's heard of them and they don't know where they are. And you end up figuring that out, but I'm not going to ruin it for you. So Atlas Shrugged is also incredible because, again, by Ayn Rand, who just is amazing at plotting different perspectives up against each other. And then last but not least is a book that I read last year that really surprised me. I was told it was good. I've seen it all over. And that is Kekai, which is just an incredible book about a woman who influences like the rise of women kind of in her time when it wasn't a thing that you could do. And also she becomes a mom to a god, and how she goes through those avenues. And she also has her own like not superpower, but kind of a superpower where she can influence people based on a plane that she sees that has strings. So that's pretty cool too. It's an interesting aspect. So this is 474 pages, and this book is just so good. And I read it and I still think about it all the time as well. Definitely a lot of these books are books that I either really, really, really enjoyed reading, or books that I still think about from time to time today. So that's 474 pages. Atlas Shrugged is a lot bigger. I know we're going back to that, but Atlas Shrugged is like 1,063 pages. And The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand is 694. So yeah, and like her font is pretty small too. So even though her books are smaller, so sometimes I'm sure you can find a book for The Fountainhead that's like 500-ish pages instead of 694. This is a smaller book with smaller font. So yeah, those are 15 of the longer books that I've read based on if they're 400 pages or more, which who is deciding that? Because Tomorrow is definitely 397 unless you count the acknowledgements, and according to Goodreads it is like not 400. So or no, it is over 400 according to Goodreads. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, Tomorrow 401 is what it says. The Night Circus it also says is 401, but the version that I have is 419. So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how many other books may potentially be in here that I just don't know about because they're rating the book portion of it differently. But anyway, these are some of my favorite books. So if you are thinking about doing Big Book Summer, or maybe you already did it and you loved that book and you want a different book to read, I'd recommend any of these books to you, depending on what you're into. Like, there's definitely some things that aren't for everybody, but I feel like The Book Thief is 100% for everybody. Kekai is for everybody. Project Hail Mary is for everybody. The Boys in the Boat, like, honestly, and Unbroken, I feel like that's for anyone as well. The Starless Sea and The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, Becoming might depend on your preferences. But yeah, The Chosen Ones, Memoirs of a Geisha, and Pachinko, I would recommend those to anyone too. So what are some books that are 400 pages or more that you've read you've really enjoyed? Is there anything on this list that you've thought about that you might start reading? Let me know. I want to hear about it. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, for talking about books with me. I hope that you guys decide to do Big Book Summer as well, or if you already have started, I hope that you are finding some incredible big books that you can read, and hopefully we can talk about it at some point. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Love Your Shelf. Please like and subscribe if you'd like. I hope that you have a great day. Namaste.